We're in conversation with Rod and Ken, and Ken is going to tell us the story, and Rod is going to share the story of how this father and son combination got to be father and son.
Well, maybe not the intimate details, but we can get close, okay. In the late 60s, I met a woman who I thought was a pretty remarkable woman. We got together.
Where were you? You were in California.
Yeah, I was in the Bay Area.
And she,
And so was she, in Redwood City, California. I'll go into a little bit of detail which we can edit unless you want to worry about it.
yeah. How long did you guys, like, I mean, when you guys first met, how long were you together
Oh, just weeks, couple of weeks.
before, then what happened after those couple of months? When she left, or,
No, she got pregnant.
oh, within a couple of months, she got pregnant.
Yeah, a woman I was dating in San Mateo, I had really mixed feelings about her. I thought she was, very interesting, and she was very married. Her husband was in Vietnam. I felt very guilty. I felt like I was betraying a deep trust. She seemed to be okay with it. I didn't feel so hot about it.
And how old were you?
How old was I?
Yeah.
Well, I was 16, I was like 43, so I was 24, I think. 24, 25. And she got pregnant, and we had a long talk about what we really should do. And it seemed like she didn't want to end the marriage, but she was very concerned that he was in Vietnam, he was a career soldier. So over the course of a few conversations, decided that maybe she'd be better off waiting for him to come back from Vietnam, talk it through, see what she wanted to do. There was nothing for us to do right now except just wait.
But she was going back to him and then wasn't going to pursue a relationship with you, and
No.
just was going to cut it off at that point.
Yeah, that was pretty much, it was, we were, I can't even say winding down, because we never really wound up. We just slowly terminated seeing each other. And, I was entranced by her. She was a very charming woman. About, I don't know, a year later, I flew back to Warner Robins Air Force Base in Georgia, I think it was. Visited her in Columbus, Georgia.
Had you talked in between? Had you guys talked in between?
A few times on the phone. And during that time, she had had a second child, another boy named Travis. Fred, the husband, had gone back to Vietnam, I believe. I met the two boys. This part is the pain in my heart, I have to admit. She was back in San Mateo. She called me.
Why did she go back?
Hmm?
Why did she go back to California?
Why did she?
Yeah. But she just
That's
showed up
right.
there.
Anyway, the boys exist. She called me in San Mateo. We spent another she visited. She would live in her. Well, no, she moved in with a few toys of yours, and that was it. I drove her and the two boys up to meet my parents. Rod was about a year and a half, Travis was much younger.
So was she talking about leaving her husband at that time?
We really didn't have that level of conversation, just, she didn't know what she was doing. She was raising dogs and kids. I drove the two boys up to meet my parents. I was a little, just about 2 years old. I did that for us. All I was so I spent the weekend in Oregon introducing Rod to my parents and drove home. The following Thursday, there was a phone call and a knock on the door, and there was some guy named John, who was an old army buddy of Fred's, who spent the night in my house that Thursday night. And she was going to drive him to Travis Air Force Base the next morning to drop me off to go back to Vietnam. So last I ever saw her, she took both boys, disappeared, just flat out disappeared. And I looked for 20-some years trying to find them, never found them. My brother's cop had him search NCIC, all sorts of different avenues to try and hunt this one down, and could never locate him. And I still don't know. I think they moved to the Caribbean for a while. They moved around and shit, different men in their life. What Rod and I decided to do, well, Rod and his sister and I decided to do, because she called me a year after she disappeared and said, well, Ken, this is Candace, I just want you to know that you have a daughter named Chandra Nicole. And at that point, I was so filled with doubt about her capacity to tell the truth and to hold on to a correct story and not migrate all over the place with the truth, that I didn't even know if Rod was my son. It was just, there was just so much doubt. This is the 60s in San Francisco, so there was doubt about everything. And so we did a three-way DNA test. So that following weekend was a very painful, wrenching in my heart. And Rod, it felt like he was kidnapped. It really was. He just disappeared with all his toys and clothes and everything. And never saw him again out of my house. A year later, I get a call that says, I have a daughter. I don't believe it. Rod and...
I suppose I could reject that. You could reject from my standpoint, and then it's well, basically, my mother had an agreement with then her ex-husband Fred, and that they weren't going to talk about it to the kids. That they were just never going to say anything. And then on a particular day, she was angry and she told us, and then felt bad. But so from the time I was probably, I don't know, maybe 10 or so, I knew. That was then sort of an awkward thing to know, because then I always wondered, well, did my dad, Fred, did he know, or, you know, it was really weird and awkward. But he, who I was living with, because at the end of their marriage, he took us kids and raised us, and he, I guess I thought at the time I didn't want to know who you were, because it didn't really matter, and I didn't trust my mother either. I didn't know the truth of the whole situation, so I just kind of put it out of my mind and pursued. And then later in life, my wife, she kind of wanted to know, and then she said, well, if nothing else, then for health reasons, I'm curious, you know. And then my sister wanted to know. And so I said, well, okay, Shan, my sister, I said, if you want to know, then I'll help you. And I'll do that too.
So maybe 5 years ago, something like that,
For me,
I get an email. I'm sitting downstairs at my desk and opening emails, and I get this one that says, "Dear Ken, hi, my name is Rod. I hope you remember me." 2.5 seconds later, I'm in tears on my bed, and so thrilled. The way it happened, he did know that I grew up in Oregon, and he knew my uncle's name. Confused my uncle with my dad, but that was all right. But this guy is so rigorously honest. When he reached out to try and connect with my family, he said, well, I'm an old friend of Ken's from California. You know, he wouldn't, bust the bubble. So. And I had always told my folks, nobody's after me, I'm not in trouble. Just if anybody ever reaches out to try and contact me, give them my address or phone number or email or whatever. So I get this magnificent letter from Howard as an introduction. He just says, I don't want anything, I don't need anything from you. I'm just concerned about the health of my children, making sure that there's no medical situation I should be aware of. It was so appropriate. And that's how we met, and I immediately wrote back, and we had this reply, and I have all of them. We did that for a long time. That was in March. In May, I flew up and met him for the first time. Well, for the second time. But we had a 3-hour lunch and just hit it off. Bang. It was such a pleasure, and it has been. To watch, the thing I'm the thing I'm terribly proud of and relieved about is I know that he grew up under more strained family dynamic circumstances. And I'm so proud of my family to be so loving and inclusive. I was driving across the bridge delivering my mom to go visit her sister when I decided to tell them that Rod and I had met, had lunch. That was important. He and I went out and had lunch.
You're worried about telling them.
Oh, yeah. And so a day and a half later, we're driving across the bridge and I'm thinking, should I tell my folks? And I'm thinking, they are so amazing. They've handled so much of my whack-out stuff. They can handle this one. So I told my mom, I said, well, we were in the car and I said, Mom, do you remember about 30 years ago, I drove up to Portland in this little orange BMW or something with a blonde woman and 2 children. And My mom looks at me and says, "Oh yeah, I'll never forget that one." And I said, "Well, remember I said I had lunch with an old friend 2 days ago? That was that little blonde bride that you met when you were 2. And she just wept. And of course, immediately invited them over to dinner, I think Sunday night or something, which we did. And of course, my mom took all my baby pictures. And that's how we got to Rod's house and met as a family. And this was good. More connected. And now, his kids are playing with their grandchildren, invited to the birthday parties.
Yeah.
And just woven into what I think is a very loving and healthy, respectful family. I consider it an honor to have you part of that family. And my whole family does, actually. They adore you, kids. Yeah. So it's a good thing all around.
They've been wonderful to us. They've been wonderful to us. And have made us feel very included from day one. They're terrific.
Yeah, they're so inclusive and loving and open to drawing to loving energy and respectfully.
What a nice story. What a nice story. You have a question?
Well, I was thinking an important part of the story was the piece that I talked about earlier, that you did look for Rod. It's like all those years didn't go by and you were sort of resigned, although that was there when we met and when you started working as a psychotherapist and we were working with children. You said, I remember the day you said, I have to talk to you. And we probably went to lunch. And you told me about Rod, the story that you just told about that she just took him and left. But you never forgot.
Not one day.
Yeah, and you never, you actively pursued that a couple of times. And it seems important for you and your family to know that it wasn't, times were different, it wasn't as easy to find people. And I remember we worked on it, and I remember my words to you were that if you keep it in your heart that you want him to meet him, one day he will find you. But don't be disappointed if he doesn't, want to have a relationship with you, because we didn't know about you. But I remember saying that to you, and it felt to me like that you did accept that. And then when you told me that he found you, you showed me the pictures. It was like, guess what?
And I understood from you earlier that you had mixed feelings too about searching for me because my mother had gone back to her husband, and as far as you knew, she was going to try to work out the relationship and raise a family and all of that. So at some point when you couldn't find me, you kind of resigned yourself to, well, they're trying to get on with their lives, and is that accurate?
Yeah, well, I just didn't want to interfere or
Right.
cause tumult or upset. One of the things, as it turned out, we did a 3-way DNA test. It came back, and this is a very difficult it's a pain in my heart. But not deep, it's just the situation. Turns out, Rod is my son, she is not my daughter. She did run off with this guy that she go to Travis Air Force Base. They spent time together on the road. She got pregnant, had his child. So she was 3 kids, 3 different fathers. And it was very difficult for her to learn that, Ken's not your father, Rod's your half brother, not your full brother.
She knew or suspected, though. Because when you told me that, or when you found out, and you told me, oh, well, maybe it was this guy, John, I went back and told her that she's going to need to talk to her daughter and do some mending there, and said, I don't remember exactly how I said it, something along the lines of, was it perhaps this John guy? And she said, well, how do you know that? Well, I've been talking to Ken. And she acknowledged that, yeah, it was possible that it was him. Unfortunately, she says that he died of Vietnam.
Yeah. So you'll never meet your father because he's dead. That's her story to her daughter. And he went back to Vietnam and was killed there. I keep thinking John Anderson, but that's just too far behind me to really be able to put a last name on it. But that's a story of how Rod and I came together. And again, even with these disappointing elements, our heart is so filled with love for him and his family. For us, this stuff doesn't matter. It just doesn't weigh anything. He has a magnificent family, he's a magnificent man, good worker, good husband, good friend, dedicated to the right values in life, which I'm so proud of.
It's completo.
Yeah.
More questions?
No, I would just add to this beautiful story that when I knew about you, when Ken told me about you, he said, well, I don't know how to take it. I mean, it turns out that I have a son, and I said, well, it's a blessing. And he said, yes, it is a blessing. So, I mean, he's here. Welcome, welcome to your life, and so ever since, I mean, that it's been always creating more bonds and more links and more love, and I can understand why. I mean, you are such an easy person to love. Your family is precious, all of them, from Leanne and Alex and Katie and my friend Madison. They're all beautiful, and you all make Ken so happy. So yes, all of you are a blessing.
I was thinking, I'd learned much the same thing, that even though it was my sister and my wife that were prompting me to pursue getting to know Ken and all of that, I felt uncomfortable with it at first, you know. And as I was, Leon and we were having the conversation the other day about, I almost felt disloyal in going to start this relationship with Ken when my dad, Fred, who raised me, you know, I felt kind of disloyal to him. So it was a process for me of learning that there's no limit on love. And just because I'm giving love here and pursuing this relationship here doesn't mean I'm stealing love from Fred, my dad who raised me, who's a great guy too. And
Who did a great job,
Oh, yeah.
given the circumstances, as I understand them.
yeah,
He hung in there with you, with the family, loving, dedicated.
So it's been a stretching experience for me too, and being more inclusive in relationships. My wife has been really good in that process, and just being straightforward and honest about things, because I think my natural tendency would be to compartmentalize and, you know, not pursue certain things or see them as untouchable or something. And she's like, no, just be honest, tell the kids everything, and it won't seem weird to them, you know, as they get older. And so that's what we've done, and it seems less weird to me the more I do that. So it's been a good experience for me too, a maturing experience.